Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here. I hope you're doing well, and if you're not, I hope you are soon. Okay, today we are going to be taking a look at Card Tactics, and this is a game that is available on the Game Crafter. I was supplied this as a review copy. So this is a small box card game from We de Sousa Roca, and let's read a little bit about that here. One day, a dragon from a faraway place made nest in our land. Chaos soon followed, danger everywhere. A trio of heroes fought their way through unspeakable dangers to face the creature atop its mountain in a selfless effort to free the land from his menace. Card Tactics is a really cool and fun little game. It is basically a game where you are going through 5 increasingly difficult combat encounters with a group of 3 heroes. So at the beginning of the game, you're going to choose a party of 3 heroes from an included 6 heroes. Right now, I am playing as the Ranger, the Druid, and the Lancer. You also have available the Guardian, the Alchemist, and the Pyromancer. The heroes have a number of different stats and abilities. They have a defense value, they have a health value. Each of the heroes has a quirk, an ability that is always active depending on the situation. And then each of the heroes also has 2 different abilities. And these abilities are usually some kind of an attack ability or a defensive ability, some kind of tactical ability that you will use to defeat the enemies. For instance, the Pyromancer, for his attack, he can do a fire punch. And he will roll his attack dice, and he will add a 3. It has a range of 1, and he can move before or after doing that fire punch. Or he can cast a fireball, which has a range of 2 to 3. That gives him a +2 to his attack, but he cannot move before or after. So the game has a battle line drawn in the center of the 3 heroes and the 3 enemies, and range is calculated from the hero doing the attack. For instance, my Lancer here has a lunge of range 1 and 2. So I could attack at range 1 or 2. So I could attack the first enemy right past the battle line or the second enemy. So after you've chosen your 3 heroes for your party, you are also going to draw a number of random items. The items in this game come in 3 distinct flavors. We have common items, we have rare items, and we have unique items. And those go up in power accordingly. At the beginning of the game, you are going to draw 2 or 3 common items, and you are going to keep 2 of them. The 2 items that I drew at the beginning were a healing potion and a great sword. The great sword is an item that allows me to do a powerful a powerful attack that leaves me open to counterattack. And the health potion does what it says. It heals damage on a hero. I've gone through 1 battle already, so in defeating my first battle, I got to draw 3 more items, and I drew some daggers, which allowed me to do 2 weak attacks and move quite a bit. I drew a Scroll of Power, which allows me to cast a spell that makes one of my attacks more powerful. And I drew the Hound. The Hound is a little dog ally that you can use to help in combat. And the Hound comes with his own little token that you can use. So there are other items such as crossbows, grappling hooks, invisibility scrolls, teleportation scrolls, and then some of the more powerful items you have, such as an Ice Blast scroll, a guard dog, a phoenix feather, a ring of health, bloody axe. One thing is in this game is the art is fantastic, and this has illustrations by Victor Costa and box art by Guilherme Frodo. But I really, really do like the artistic direction in this game, and I need to look up that artist to see if they have done more art for other games. So after you have your initial party of heroes, you're going to set up your battle deck, your enemy deck. And that's going to be set up in a certain order. You're always going to start, your first fight is going to be against 3 common enemies. So the first enemies I defeated were a bandit, an orc, and a wolf. My next battle here is against a bandit, a wolf, and the first boss. This is a common boss, and this is the Orc Chieftain. The enemies have the same types of stats as the heroes. They have a defense, they have a health, they have their quirk, and then they also have 2 different attacks that they will do depending on the position they are in their battle line. So you will go through a series of battles. My next fight will be against 3 rare enemies, and then 2 rare enemies and a rare boss, and then 2 unique enemies, a unique boss, and the unique boss is the dragon, and that dragon has the ability to add enemies to its battle line, and it will summon in these 3 unique enemies to help fight alongside it. In between each battle, you have a camp phase where the heroes are going to go to camp. And the heroes can heal at camp, they can switch positions and do some maintenance stuff at camp. And then before the battle starts, you're going to draw one of these event cards that is going to add kind of a twist to the battle. During my first battle, I had to cross a river, and so I was unable to use any items for the first round of combat. The event that is adding a wrinkle to the second fight here is a pit fight. So I went into a pit. This fight is taking place in a pit. And it says there's a pit ahead of you with enemies awaiting. You may pool to 1 hero. Both the hero and enemy closest to the center of the battle line start the combat restrained and affected by a -2 damage. That's showing that the battlefield has shrunk. And so the battle line, the 2 combatants right at the battle line are really going to have a tough time. There are a number of different types of events that you will have to overcome, such as a trapped path, you can be ambushed, a hard climb, tactical advantage, a merchant, surprised, or a trapped chest. So moving is done by pushing and pulling. Pushing is you move away from the battle line. Pulling, you move towards the battle line. And the game itself is relatively simple, but let's take a look here. So these 2 combatants, they each start restrained and affected by -2 shields. So restrained is a condition that if you are restrained, you cannot make any types of movement. So they are stuck in that position until they get rid of that condition. They also have -2 to their defense because of the restricted the confines of the battlefield. We're going to add 2 shields, 2 bad shields to each of these combatants there. That's going to be a very deadly little confrontation here. And so the game plays very simply. You move from left to right or from right to left, depending on if you are controlling your heroes or the enemy. And each hero takes an action in order, and each enemy takes an action in order. And those are staggered. So my first hero up is my Lancer. So this says before enemy attacks an adjacent ally, a Lancer may use a counter token as if it was being attacked by that enemy. So a counter is another kind of tactical advantage that a hero or an enemy can get, and that allows them to counterattack. So basically the Lancer's ability allows him I can place a counter attack token on him by using his hold the line power. And then if an enemy attacks one of his adjacent allies, he can do a counterattack on behalf of that ally. So the Lancer probably would be better to have in the center position so he can protect both sides. But I have made a poor tactical decision. So the Lancer I'll just use his lunge power, which has a range of 1 to 2. And that allows me to hit 1, 2 away. If he was in the center, I can only hit 1, 2 away. So you always count from the hero doing the attack or from the unit doing the attack. So I do an attack, and then on a critical, I hit the enemy behind the target for 1 damage. And I can move before or after doing this attack. However, I am restrained, so I cannot move. So to do an attack is very simple. You roll 2d6, you add any bonuses, you subtract any penalties, and you have to meet or beat your target's defense. If you meet or beat double the target's defense, then that is considered a critical attack. So let's just do a regular attack. The Lancer is going to be attacking the bandit, and I rolled a 5. So that is enough to do 1 point of damage to the bandit. I'm going to add a damage token there to the bandit there. Okay, so that was the Lancer's turn. So normally you would tap them to show that they've moved. I don't really like doing that because you have to kind of reposition the card. So I just add a little white token to show that the Lancer has moved. Okay, so now the bandit. So this says if a hero is hit by bandit, set aside an owned item of your choice for the duration of the combat. So the bandit prevents you from using one of your items. And there is not a limit to how many items you can have in your hand. And the enemy or your heroes can use those items as an action on their turn. So the bandit, though, his main type of attack when he is in the first or second position, which he is a smoke screen. So he adds a counter token to his self. So you're going to take a counter token and add that to the bandit. So now when the next time he is attacked, he will attack the hero back. So the bandit has gone. And now let's look at the druid. So the druid, if an enemy is defeated by bleed while still under the effect of bleed, the hero of your choice heals 2. So she can inflict bleed on a target. And then if that bleed kills that enemy, it also helps to heal a hero. She also has an earthquake attack. They has an earthquake attack that has a range of 1 to 3. And on a hit, I can push or pull a target. So some attacks allow you to reposition the enemies after you make the attack. We also have here this Scroll of Power. So this is a discard the item after use. Scroll of Power can be used before rolling an attack and does not spend an action. So it has a range of 0, meaning that it affects the self. And I get a +5 to my attack value. So I might want to do that just to guarantee. No, because the bandit only has 2 health. So a simple attack against the bandit should kill it. I should be okay. But maybe I do want to use this greatsword, but the greatsword only has a range of 1. So if I use the greatsword, I could not attack the bandit. I don't have enough range with that greatsword. So I could use this dagger, and this dagger I could move twice and then do 2 quick attacks that are less powerful, one after another. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and use the druid's earthquake power because it does have the range that I am looking for. I only need to get 1 hit on the bandit before it is dead. If you kill a target that has counter attack, they don't get to use that target. They don't get to use that counter attack. The fighting is not simultaneous. Oh, you know what though? I almost forgot. He does have -2 to his defense. So that first attack by the Lancer might have been a critical. I don't remember what I rolled, so I'm just going to play it as if it wasn't. Let's see what the druid can do here. Oh my gosh, what a bad roll. However, that is a 3. And I believe that these go away after 1 attack. Let me see. Let me check the rules here. These should have gone away after that first attack by the Lancer. And these will go away the first time that the Lancer is attacked. So I really should have been paying attention to see if I did actually do a critical attack with my Lancer, because I could have killed the bandit and I could have made a crucial mistake by not paying attention to those. So that is something that you have to be aware of as you are commanding your heroes. Make sure you look at the tokens. And that could have really cost me because now my druid, she missed the bandit. So her turn is done. And now it is the wolf's turn. So the wolf, if another wolf is in combat, the wolf rolls with a +2. Okay, there's only 1 wolf in combat. He is in the first or second position. So the first thing the wolf is going to do is pull self. So that means that the wolf goes to the front of the battle line. And now it does an attack against the closest hero. And on hit, it restrains. But the Lancer is already restrained. Restrain might go away after 1 attack as well. Let's see here. When affected by restrain, the unit cannot move self as part of its action. The restraint token is discarded at any point the affected unit is healed for any amount or at the end of their action. So the Lancer will remove that first restrain token, but he might get it back after the wolf attacks. So the wolf is going to attack. The wolf has to get a 6 or higher to hit. And no, Snake Eyes. So the wolf misses as well. Lucky, lucky. All right, so the wolf is gone. So now the last of my heroes to go is the Ranger. Once per action when making an attack roll, the Ranger can re-roll 1 die, keep the new result. And the Ranger has a tactical advantage. This attack here has a range of 3. And on hit, I can add a +1 attack token to an ally. Or I can also do a long shot, which will allow me to move before or after. I'm going to do my tactical advantage shot, which has a range of 1 to 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I can attack the wolf here. Or I could attack the bandit and try to kill it. I think I'm actually going to use my long shot and do a range of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And try to kill off this bandit. Okay, so I need to get a 5 or higher here. And there we go. We got our 8. So the bandit has been killed. He won't be able to use that counter attack. So the bandit is out of the enemy battle line. And then the orc boss moves up, or the orc chieftain, I should say. Okay, so now it is the Orc Chieftain's turn, and let's see what the Orc Chieftain does. Even with 0 health, the Orc Chieftain will only be defeated when no other enemy is left in combat. So he has to be the last man standing before he can be killed. He does a terrifying blow in first or third position, +2 to the combat to the closest hero. On a critical hit, it stuns. So he is in position 2. I'm going to add a 2. Right now, my Lancer has an armor of value of 4. So let's hope I don't get an 8 or higher. Oh no, a 9. Okay, so that counts as a critical hit because of these 2 shields, but they do go away now. I'm going to take 2 hits to my Lancer. Plus, my Lancer is stunned. And stunned is another condition that I believe it prevents you from taking any action. Stun units cannot act at all and have to skip their next action. The stun token is discarded after skipping that unit's action, or at any point if at least 1 health is healed. Okay, so because of that, the Orc Chieftain is gone. Now all of the combatants are gone, and so now we reset for the next round. So yeah, that's basically how card tactics works. I have not beaten the game. The enemies get very hard, and it does take a good amount of luck and tactics in order to defeat that final dragon boss. It also takes a good deal of luck in how you're going to get which weapons you're going to get. So there is that kind of that kind of rogue-like seeding that when you shuffle your cards, if you get the right items that are going to hit at the right time against the right enemies, then that can be very beneficial. But the game is super fun. It's very easy to learn and play, super quick to set up. It's in a tiny box. It comes with kind of just the right number of components to have a good amount of variety. I would like to see a small expansion that adds more events. I think having a larger number of events will make each game a little more exciting, and maybe just a few more enemies in each of the enemy types. Because we only have a few common bosses, and we only have a few common enemies. In a single game, you're going to see most of what the game has to offer in terms of rare enemies and common enemies. And rare bosses, there are 3 rare bosses. So maybe just a small kind of a booster pack expansion with some more events and some more enemies, I think could really make card tactics shine. And all of that stuff would also still fit in this small box. So it would still be a cool game in a small box. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed taking a look at card tactics. We will talk to you later. Bye-bye.